I'm J. Scott Wilson, also known as James, also known as Teach, and I am the publisher behind Wider Perspectives Publishing. I'm here today with one of Wider Perspectives' newest authors, Jada Hollingsworth.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen. Her first book is called Limerence, Confessions of a Lovesick Middle Schooler, and she's actually done that as part of a series of books. I believe there are 6 in all. That is the first. The second one is due to burst forth any moment now, and that one is called thank you, Infatuation, Confessions of a Lovesick High School Girl. I think you see a theme going there, and I'm looking forward to books 3, 4, 5, 6 added tonight. We're going to ask Jada some questions so you can get familiar with who this author is and get familiar with her book and what went into it. So, are you feeling ready?
Yes.
Okay. I have a set of questions that I submitted her. She looked over them and said, well, I think these will be the best ones to choose from. So from the top, what is your favorite word?
Lovely. Because it's delicate and I like delicate things.
Okay, very nice. There are a lot of people that have a different word that they answer with that, and I'm glad that yours wasn't part of that. Said. The next one is, what turns you on creatively, artistically? What gets your pen or other arts flowing?
I like listening to music, particularly this artist called Liaison. The way he raps, I feel like the way he talks is how I talk, so it helps me when I'm coming up with something to say. Or I like being outside, so like if I feel like writing, I might go like to the park and sit under a tree, or like climb a tree.
Okay.
So like when it's like good weather outside, I feel like I write better than when it's like cold outside.
When you mentioned climbing a tree, that reminds me that about the author photo in your second book is you in a tree.
Yeah.
All right. Next, what creatively turns you off?
Loud noise with the cold. Loud noises. Like if I'm trying to write and like somebody's talking to me, I'm gonna end up writing down what they're saying instead of writing down what was in my head.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna take a quick dip to introduce this next question by saying, what do you do professionally? What do you do for a living currently?
I work at PETA. I manage our literature department. That's inventory, mailroom, and fulfillment.
Okay, and so the question is, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would love to try HR, but also I feel like something that works more directly with animals, because PETA we work with animals, but like I don't like handling animals. So like if I worked at like an animal sanctuary or at like a SPCA or something like that handles animals more directly.
Okay. What in creating this book surprised you the most?
Ooh, mostly I feel like, because these poems I wrote in middle school, right? So like transcribing, like finding my old poetry books, transcribing those poems, which my friends helped me with, and like having to read over them and edit them, it surprised me how like intensely I felt for like these people, because like I used love a lot in that book, and obviously I was not in love with those people, which is why I chose the title Limerence, because like the way that I talk about them, and then infatuation too, like I did not love any of those people. So that was very surprising. I'm glad that I found like a word to express what those poems meant, because otherwise people would just think I loved everybody.
Limerence was a new word for me too.
Yeah.
So you taught me a word in the process. But that is a good insight and introspection that what you thought was love then was at best training love.
Yep.
so that you could find greater and greater degrees later.
Right.
Okay. Tell us what you enjoy most about writing.
I'm not that great of a public speaker. I took classes and I passed like the classes, but like personally, I would prefer to not say anything in front of anybody. So when I need to communicate, writing is, like, I think better when I'm writing it down. It flows better, like I get across what I want to say.
I should have introduced, by the way, this is Jada, her son.
You wanna say hey, Pooh?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
He got that from me.
I'm gonna be as he is support mom. Okay. Incidentally, you touched on feeling nervous in front of people when you're speaking. You're doing a fine job.
Yes.
And there is a saying we have at some of the performance venues around here: if you're not nervous, you're probably doing it wrong.
That's
So even when you become old hat at it, there'll still be a little flutter. That's natural.
okay.
So you're doing just fine. Number 7, give us something to anticipate. What upcoming project would you like to let us know is in your future?
Ooh. Okay, so out of the 6-part series, my favorite book is book number 4. It's called Hemophilia, which is quickly rushing into relationships like back to back to back. That's what that word means. And it's Confessions of a Lovesick Young Adult. So that's one of the ones that I wrote more recently. And I'm really excited because in this book, I can honestly say that I, at this point, knew what love was, understood it. So finally, out of the Lovesick series, this is the first one that's like, oh, she's in love with somebody. And the poems are really, really good. I think they reflect that so well.
Okay. Okay. From this book, from Limerence, which single piece is most meaningful to you?
Missing Love is the most meaningful poem from Limerence because that's the first one I wrote. I wrote it about my first boyfriend in 6th grade. And it's the first poem that I put on the internet. So I put it on Facebook, I got submitted it to poetry websites. And I feel like those poetry websites were scams, but I didn't know no better. But I got a lot of emails about oh my goodness, we love this poem, we would love to publish it. And I feel like that gave me the confidence to want to keep writing. So it was a good start.
Okay. You now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Honestly, stop dating. But if that was the advice, then I wouldn't have written anything.
So, in the end, it wound up being fuel for the writing.
Yeah.
So don't. Okay. And then the last question is, what is a message that you think everyone most needs to get? And is there some part of that that you feel you pack into your art or your writing?
Well, all of the books in this series are about love, so I feel like that's the message that I portray the most. I think a good takeaway is that, well, one, how if you're feeling down, that feeling doesn't last forever. There's growth, there's another side of the rainbow, but also that younger people can feel very intensely too. So I appreciate my parents for letting me date that young anyway, even if it led to me being sad sometimes. And y'all will see through the series, Limerence is a pretty happy book. And then as I get older, the books get sadder, like by the end of the series, like you learn that self-love is the most important love there is. So you gotta read all 6 books.
Yes.
But I feel like they flow in a way that tells that story really well.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your new author, Jada. And if the camera people would be interested, they could show the family, friends, and fans in attendance. This is who we have gathered today to celebrate Jada's book release. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you check out Limerence and her upcoming book, Infatuation. It's already available for pre-order and will be out very shortly.